It is time once again for another weekly episode of the Mod Zoo. That is not the regular Mod Zoo podcast, but our just weekly hangout where we screw around, break things, try to look professional, and fail miserably all the time. With me, we've got Bill Owen.
Hey, everybody.
We have Mosquito.
Hello.
We have Graham.
Hey there.
And Kyle.
Hello.
And this week's topic, we're going to be discussing some of the great deals we've discovered, some of the dirty tricks we've figured out over the years of how to find those great deals, and maybe we'll share up some of our secret locations for those great deals as well.
And they're all going to be completely useless to me.
Well, move over to the States there, buddy, and we'll be able to help you.
I'll do that when your political system makes sense.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Never, ever, ever, ever.
Trump.
I'm not going to get too political here, but I will say this: like, if we had anywhere near the system that they have in the United Kingdom, like even prime minister's questions, if like the president had to submit every week to a question and answer forum for an hour by Congress, like the prime minister's questions does, we would have better candidates. I swear to God.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have to pay for all the dental stuff that my kids need done either, right?
No. You'd still have to pay for it for yourself, though.
What about orthodontics, like braces and that?
That's all free if you're under the age of 16 or in full-time education.
So there you go. That's the deals you can talk about today on this hangout. About how in your country you've got better healthcare.
And if anybody's watching, let us know if you got any questions or some deal suggestions that we can mention while we're doing the hangout too.
Yes, indeed. And before we really dig into it, we have a little bit of somber news, too, to go over. Bill, if you want to talk about that?
With Mosquito, too. And Kyle, you knew Wayneo, too, as well.
Yes, I did.
Wayne Wilkinson passed away. He had an inoperable cancer. I don't know exactly what type of cancer. He passed away early in February. Those of you may recognize his name, Wayneo, and his main home base was BitTech. In the project log section, you could find Wayneo builds, and also he was a member of the Mod Zoo as well, and he passed away. And Mosquito is going to show some of the work logs that Wayneo's left for us in the forum. We'll do a screen share, and you can show. And you guys, after we got the news, what was really great is you guys went and you got all of his images from his PhotoBucket account. And we've got them all, so in case his account lapses. And the way we found out about the news is that his brother logged in through his BitTech account on BitTech and posted in there about his brother's passing. And I don't know if his brother Mark realizes that Wayne was using PhotoBucket to host all his photos, and I don't know how long that account was good for. So we feared losing all those pictures. So Droog and Moss grabbed them all. Where'd you guys put them? On what server?
Well, we've got them up on the Mod Zoo server with the rest of our images, and we're sorting through them now.
Yep.
Can you pull up one of his, like, what was his most recent work log was the Micro ATX one that he shared with us, isn't that correct?
MATX air-cooled rig, I think is what it was called.
Yeah. That actually was a pretty conservative basic fabrication, and I've known Wayneo for the last several years just through the community, and what's really sad is that Wayneo came into the community having never really done any of this stuff before, and we all got to watch him grow and learn, and as he learned, he shared all of the stuff that he learned along the way, and he's actually very, very talented artist, and the stuff that he came up with is just, the best way to describe it is timeless. So, Moss, what is your experience with Wayne?
Well, anybody that's been on BitTech probably knows. Well, maybe not, but there is a limit to the number of messages that you're allowed to have in your inbox on BitTech, and I'm pretty sure I had to empty my inbox probably 3 or 4 times just from sending messages back and forth with Wainio. So he was one of the first people that really kind of got behind my work logs when I started, because it was a couple of years after he started, I think, when I started. But yeah, he was always there, kind of encouraging everybody, and I don't know if I ever really saw him say a negative thing in a bad way, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It was definitely a big loss to the modding community, I think, because there is most definitely quite a few ideas that he probably still had floating around in his head that now we'll never get to see.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest part of being in a community is just encouraging others to keep pushing themselves. And if you had a project log and you weren't getting any reactions, comments on it, Wainio, typically you'd see something from Wainio show up. He'd come and drop in and say hi, and just, you know, he knew that he was checking it out and watching, and it seems that we've lost that in the community. That kind of mentor member people out there. There isn't as many as there used to be. I still consider Attila one of the mentors, and maybe that's a reflection of social media and Facebook and stuff changing, you know, involvement on community forums. But you can count on the Modzu we're going to keep retaining that same spirit that when we got into this hobby that we discovered. You know, like Droog and I, we go way back to pimprig.com, you know, and right when the whole PC mod community forum thing started, and that's how I first got into modding, and I think eventually that's how Droog and I connected reconnected outside of many years after the forum had gone away. It's because that same type of spirit, you know, it's like, oh, you were a member of Pimprig? Right away, it's like there's that camaraderie that never, you know, never goes away. So.
Definitely. God, what was it? I was asking about if you still had the designs for the fan covers that you guys did for the Pimprig.
Oh, that's right.
PC.
Yeah, the tribal grills. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's back when tribal was actually popular. Yeah. What about you, Kyle? Do you remember Wainio?
Oh, I started on BitTech, so back in, I don't even know, let's see, when did I join BitTech? October 2007. And so that's when I first would have started seeing his stuff about, and just following what Moss said, I don't think I've ever seen him say a bad thing to anyone in a non-constructive way. He was always posting, trying to encourage people to do their best within the community, and especially on work logs, he would always be there to help out and just show everyone what they could, or if people ask for help or how he thought something could be done better, he would always be willing to help people out with that.
Yeah. Do you guys remember, my favorite project by Wayne was Project Stealthlow or Stealthlow.
Yep.
It had very, like, kind of Victorian styling about it. Moss, do you have any? There you go, perfect.
That I do. I actually had this all ready for the news section.
Yeah. And the front bezel, that arc on there, this was all done by hand. That's another thing that was really unique about Wayne's work. It was all hand fabricated with hand tools. He didn't go to a CNC. He didn't have laser. Well, later on he had things water jet cut, but look at right there for scroll saw. Look at that. Imagine how long that would take.
Oh, he'd post in his work logs. He's like, yeah, so I sat in front of my scroll saw for 8.5 hours last night. Now 6 in the morning, and
I mean that is inspiring.
I mean it just goes to show you that, and this one especially, like, oh, I need mesh. I'll just frickin' drill like 6,000 holes in a piece of metal, and it looks great. I mean, it just goes to show you that not
Patience.
having a CNC and not having, a laser cutter or whatever is not a problem. You just got to try hard enough. And
Yeah, it's like, go ahead.
I was just say that's amazing work. I mean, for not doing it with a CNC, doing it with a hand drill, that's just amazing. Because that looks pro. I mean, that looks like it's. I mean, that is gorgeous work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty too.
He would share everything. He would test and experiment a lot too, and share all of the progress on that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've just found his first scratch build on BitTech, and
I've seen some of these before. Wow.
You can see how far he came as well with it, what he did himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his first scratch build, which was a giant aluminium box essentially, and then you've got his latest.
That's a nuke.
YouTube.
I was gonna say, is that a nut? Because I've got one of those right here.
Nuke. Yeah. Yeah, he loved those Enermax fans too. Project Stealthflow, he had made new bands, I think, out of copper for the fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was somebody else that wanted some similar, and I think Wayne actually made some and shipped them out to him too.
I would love something for those. I have those fans too. I would love something like that for those fans.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a visionary. He was just truly a real talented artisan, and luckily we've got his work. He's got his work, and we can archive it forever on the internet, so other people can discover it in the future, be inspired by it, or refer back to it. In the future Hangout, we're going to discuss the art of making your first project work log. And can't stress enough how important photo hosting is. So if something happens to you, that your stuff isn't lost. Because Droog and I have, in the past, there was project logs going back to Pimp Rig that were really groundbreaking. And I remember, Droog, you were trying to find pictures from those work logs. That you recall.
Digging through. Well, starting with digging through archive.org to see how many of the links were actually saved, and then if any of it was any use. And I think I found one. I found the caffeine machine. I was able to finally resurrect that. And
that's one of the most epic mods of all time.
Yeah.
Yep. And the best leads that I got after that ended up just falling apart midway through the build, where you would get a lot of great progress, and then because it was 5, 6, 7 pages deep within the forum, Archive stops picking up those links, and you can't rely on their crawlers to go any deeper. And so that's the frustrating thing for me is, we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of work logs that were kept on Pimprig that I can't even go to find where the images were stored because I don't know. I don't have those links to follow back to anymore.
Wow. There's a project, a side project I'm working on with some friends. There's a local guy that was well-known legend for creating custom Volkswagens, and he passed away in January. And what we're discovering is that the peak of his time that he made an impression on stuff that on the market, because he had a business here, and people that were into the hobby was in the 70s. And the thing is, what do you have archived from the 70s? Maybe 8mm film that maybe somebody had a camera at the time, or like old film pictures, and like his family didn't really document anything, and people didn't document a lot of the stuff that he created. And so there's this frustration of like, you want to try to create something and share it like today on like with a web page or a video or something, and you just can't find all that content of what they left behind. It's lost, and it's really sad, and it's frustrating. So I just think it's so important to make sure that your stuff is saved somewhere so people can discover it later.
Man, back it up and back it up and back it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, there is somebody who said nowadays too, with the tools being so much cheaper for documentation, with camera phones and camcorders and everything else, and web storage. I mean, and there's so many different ways to do that. I mean, it's so much easier than it used to be.
One thing I was just thinking of this a while back. I invested in a bunch of these flash drives from Corsair. These are the waterproof ones. And I don't know, just something I thought was pretty cool that and I put a bunch of stuff that I want to kind of archive on these, so if a PC dies for some reason or a hard drive or SSD or whatever, I have these archived with stuff. That's just one thing I've done, yeah. So let's lift up the mood and talk about some great deals that we found. Wayne, we miss you, we love you, but thank goodness we've got your work to still reflect on, and you'll be watching over the community. So Graham, you really, I'm glad that you're in this Hangout because you really are one of the deal masters in finding like great deals and stuff. I mean, I hear about the stuff that you get, and I know that with this hobby, because your love of it is so big that you're always doing new builds and you're always looking for new hardware. So
it's funny because I have family members that grew up very thrifty, and so it's kind of been instilled on me about how to look for the good deal. And unfortunately, sometimes that means that you buy things even though you don't need them, only because they're on sale and you can get them for such a good price.
Yeah.
Like this week I showed this, I hold this up earlier. This is an Intel NUC Core i5 that I got for $280 at Micro Center around an open box. This is an older generation one, but I had all the parts. I had the Wi-Fi card. I had an MSATA for it and RAM. But $280 for Core i5.
Yeah.
And so I bought it this week. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. And I got so much shit from Greg and Jesse on Friday when I told them about it. And they're like, why'd you buy that? I'm like, because it's a NUC, and it was on sale. So yeah, so no, I mean that's just one of those deals. I mean I have all sorts of stuff that I've picked up like that. Here's another one I've got. I'm just gonna kind of plug it. This is a Nexus player. These are normally retail for $100. Target was clearancing these out for $25. These got an Intel Atom processor in it. It runs Android Player, the Android TV, whatever. You can download apps for it. You can download Kodi on it. It's got a remote that's RF, which somewhere is around here, and it's even got a microphone in it. I mean, for $25, and it can do the Chromecast thing too. You can cast from your phone to it.
Well, that's great.
But it also actually has a remote, so it's like a Chromecast plus it actually has a remote, and you don't have to use your phone to control it. Yeah. I love it for $25. But like I said, Bill's absolutely right. I am kind of the guy for this. I love. Sadly, though, more sad news. Cowboom closed their doors, which is another great site that I used to use. We were talking about this a little earlier. Cowboom, which is kind of Best Buy's refund outlet, they just closed their doors this week. So I'm kind of bummed about that because I've purchased so many things from there. I've gotten laptops from there, and all sorts of other Best Buy junk.
Is that an online store only? I never heard of. Oh, okay, I see. Here in Minnesota, we don't have a lot of options for this hobby. We have Micro Center and we have Micro Center.
We used to have more, and they really have disappeared. We used to have General Nano Systems that just disappeared. Trend Micro,
CompUSA, which really wasn't that great of a deal, though.
Yeah, but if you knew an employee there who had a discount,
see, that's Graham. Everybody, Graham will network, make friends with the employees. It's true. When you
that is sometimes the way. That's sometimes the way to get a deal. Go to the store enough times where they know you by name, and now you're starting to get the employee discounts. That's kind of what's happening at Micro Center.
Well, yeah, and basically you're just saying hi to the guys and starting up a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the Dumpster Tech name. One of the things that also I do too is I raid the recycle piles at work from IT departments. When customers recycle things and things like that. I mean, I'm raiding those piles for parts and things like I've gotten so many 2 gig sticks of DDR3 memory now that's lying around my house. But hey, it's usable.
No, those are dumpsters that are indoors though and secure. There's not something. I mean,
But the other thing is too, you can look at like your local hardware recyclers, your PC recyclers, because a lot of times they'll turn that stuff around for relatively cheap too. Like we have Ocean Tech here in the Twin Cities. They've got an eBay store that they use for all the stuff they recycle, and you can get a lot of enterprise grade hardware, whether you're looking for like server grade Ethernet cards or just processors or whatever, relatively cheaply, or laptops even. That are basically leased models that are getting recycled because their lease is over with and they're being whatever, or just they're recycling hardware, and they test it, make sure it works, and then they throw it up in their eBay store. So if you look for like if you do like a Google search like Ocean Tech eBay store, you'll find them.
oh, great advice. Cool, awesome. Moss, what about you? I think Moss is a bit more stealth about where he gets his deals, though.
Not telling.
I know he's got there's a whole art to getting the right plane and adding to his collection of planes.
That's right. A lot of times, for me anyway, it's a lot of just because I'm not in a hurry to get anything, I guess. So like for me, it's just being in the right place at the right time. Like, oh, this happened to come up, and I found out about it in time to catch this buy it now, where somebody listed something and they didn't really know what it was, or doing a little bit more research on something where somebody like on eBay lists something. I mean, I'm talking more specifically like my hand tool stuff right now, but it's kind of like, if somebody lists something as just a generic, oh, this is a plane by whoever, or this is a pump by whatever, and they don't actually list it as what it is, like like this is a DDC pump, or this is a D5 pump, or whatever, it might not get as much attention by people that might have a watch set up, and as a result, then if you keep an eye on it, you can jump on it at the right time, and you can find a deal. So that's usually what I end up doing.
Do you ever use like any of those watcher sites for like you set a price like this is what I want, I'm waiting for it to go this low on Amazon or Newegg or whatever?
Not too often. I have a couple of watch or search results, whatever they are. Through eBay, where anytime something new gets listed with certain keywords, then I get a notification on it. Sure. But I have used some of them, but I don't find those that useful because by then I've probably already found it somewhere else.
No, I just was wondering because I mean I know some people who do those things where they'll set those and there's I can't remember, I swear I can't remember the name of any of these sites now. You just made me think of it though. Where there are these websites where basically they'll watch Amazon, Newegg, and some other websites like eBay, and they'll look for that product specifically, and then when it hits that certain price point, it'll send you an email alert.
Yeah, wow. Some sites actually have that built in too, yep, where you can do that. The other one too, wow, totally just had that, and then now it's gone. Where was I going? Oh, I know somebody that sets up like RSS feeds through Craigslist too, where they just kind of, I mean, you have to be watching in order for that to matter, but that's another option. But yeah, I know like one of Bill's nemesi. One of the things that Bill hates is the retail price of water cooling pumps, and so when Jesse and I happened to find out that a site called JabTech was closing and that they were clearancing out a bunch of their stuff before they got bought by, I think Sidewinder bought them. I mean, we bought probably 7 or 8 pumps between the two of us because they were listing them for like $20 below what everybody else had them at. So that was kind of nice. I wish I could find that again because pumps are way too expensive. But
they are. Yeah, and that's what I mentioned on the last Hangout that I watch eBay for pumps. I just picked up a D5. In fact, let me see. I got this D5 with the. It's got the Bits Power full dress up kit.
Oh wow!
And I got it on eBay. I think it was just over $100. I got it when it retails for
nice.
180, I think.
Easily.
Yeah.
I had picked up an open box. I got lucky enough to find an open box of the Bits Power D5 pump top and a what do they call those? The mod kits, I think is what they call them. The cover that covers the back of it. And the mod kit they had listed for like 99 cents, and then the pump top was like $4.99. So I got the whole thing for $6.
Nice.
So it's like I can't say no to that.
No, I know. And that's the thing I was telling Graham too, is that when you get into more DIY liquid cooling, that's when you have to use these skills to really find good deals, because this stuff adds up a lot.
Part of it is, I think, too, is researching the products that you're looking for and knowing what you want. And part of the problem is I don't know enough about DIY liquid cooling to where I can be sitting on those sites and waiting and Googling around and Craigslisting and things like that. But I mean, once you research those things that you want, don't just immediately buy it. It's doing the research to be kind of a thrifty shopper about it and go, this is only how much you want to spend, and then keep looking and looking and looking. And if you've got the patience to wait, that's sometimes how it goes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I will say this: I use also some deal websites too, like Slick Deals and Got a Deal. Those are websites that I use a lot.
Mm-hmm. What about Wootbox? I haven't looked at them forever.
Well, Got a Deal usually populates Wootbox. That's part of the reason why I use them. But yeah.
Oh, Stu was saying. And this is where actually I found a deal that I'm going to show real quick here. Reddit on what's the subcategory? It was under PC build sales, I think.
Oh, okay.
Reddit. Let's see, it's buried in here. Well, Reddit under build a PC sales. And it was about a month or so ago, I was on Reddit and I found this guy, which brings back memories for some of you.
Here's the thing of beauty.
Dun, dun, dun.
The Chen Ming Dragon, which you can't find anymore, was production halted a long time ago. There's this company in Canada called Orion Computer, all one word, ORION computer.ca, and somebody mentioned in Reddit that they had bought a bunch of Chen Ming Dragons, brand new in the box still, for $9.95 each, and I was like, holy cow! And so I contacted the company, and I ended up getting it for $59 shipped pure later, because they don't use DHL or UPS, but $59 delivered to my door. And it's brand new. It's the aluminum version, and they still have yellow and that purplish brown color. Well, I mean, you can see why they'd still have those colors, but nonetheless, they're still brand new in the box. And for me, it was really something. It was like remembering an era, right? You can definitely put a system in it now, but you're limited to using the 80mm fans. But for me, it was just kind of like going down memory road, right?
That needs to go into the Case Modding Museum. That does.
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to put a modern, like a nice hardline system in it, and just leave it all stock. Here's another.
80mm rads?
Pardon me?
80mm radiators?
No. I would modify the interior. I'd fab a whole new interior for it to be updated. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay.
I actually haven't seen the inside of one, so.
Oh, well, you're not missing anything.
Check this out right here. This is key.
This is the part that when I opened it up, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Remember that deal, Bill. Remember that deal.
And this is why we mod.
There is zero space for cable management in the
I know how that goes. I've bought a few old cases. I've been buying the Lianli PC7s for that Dragon cut that I have in one. Yeah, I know that goes.
This is before manufacturers listened to us about needing space to manage cables, right?
Oh man.
So that's an obstruction, or should we say a challenge to take into account. And I got one more thing I want to share that was just something out of the blue I was looking for a while back, and I asked Cooler Masters California office if they had any, because I was still venturing down memory lane, trying to recapture when I first got into this hobby, right, and what was cool products. This right here is Cooler Master Musketeer. Which version is? Oh, it's the first one. All right, brand new in the box. This is one of those things that you can't get anymore, right?
Oh, jeez.
Another item for the museum. That is.
Yes. Case Mod Museum. Let's see here. I love it when it's brand new packaging still, right? Ooh, listen, first time the tapes have actually peeled back. First time it's been opened. For you guys.
They're
right
just
there.
so beautiful.
Yeah. So cool. Especially I love cars, man. It just, yeah. So I got that for it was like $20 from Cooler Master's office. He's like, oh yeah, we happen to have one of those still. And like, well, how much you want for it? I don't know, $20? Yeah, hell yeah. So you never know. Sometimes you just gotta, like Graham does, ask around. You know.
Sure. I guess I'm just I'm picturing this is how Greg got started.
Well, if you know Greg's story, he worked for DC Mods.
I know.
Yeah,
Greg's story. I just think all this old hardware that's just floating around, brand new in packaging. It's like when I go to the smart computer store on Fridays.
Well, that is great. It is great to have the smart computer store as a local asset for this stuff. But what Greg had worked for a PC custom PC builder mod shop that had opened up here years ago, and when they went out of business, Greg was like, okay, how much you want for everything? And they struck a deal. So and that's what helped Greg launch his smart computer store. So if you're looking for Aquarius or Pisces 80mm fan grid, he's the man.
Brand new in packaging.
Yes, brand new.
I think he's got every sign of the zodiac. I think.
Yes, he does. Kyle, okay, you've got deals over there because we've got members that are overseas.
Yep. So along with the Reddit, I haven't found any Reddit feeds for the UK, but there is one good resource that's in the UK that I'm willing to tell everyone about, because we all talk about BitTech all the time anyway. And on BitTech in the classified section, because BitTech's are primarily a UK-based forum anyway, in the classified section there, they have the hardware bargains thread. And that's where people just post stuff all the time about random deals that they find. As soon as you get several hundred people like us browsing retailers, stuff gets posted all the time. And often it's Amazon Lightning deals, so you have to be quick on those because they're only there for an hour or so. But they stuff like the other day somebody posted about the HP microserver Gen 8, which had a £55 rebate on it, taking it down to £109, which was insane. So I've purchased one, waiting on it.
That's a good server.
Yeah, it is a very good server, especially seeing as though it's really upgradable. So in terms of getting that overseas, just try and find a local forum and browse there. Another place is I'm saying this, not my fault if stuff's broken, but eBay is always another good friend when it comes to finding stuff. Just be careful with it. Make sure you're getting stuff that you have to accept that if stuff's dead, it's dead.
Well, at least you have they've got the PayPal buyer protection plan. So when a seller says no refunds, ha 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 ha. Flip it on them. I mean, if they try to rip you off with something.
And so I was just browsing eBay there, looking for good deals, and I found a few open box places in the UK that sell stuff that's in. This product is being graded as A-, as in it's a previously open boxed item but not used. So you should be able to find stuff like that anyway, and they usually come with manufacturer warranties because they haven't actually been sold yet.
Hey, here's another thing I've noticed too, and you guys have seen, where people will they'll watch eBay for like video cards and motherboards that are like not working anymore, and then they'll take and send that to the manufacturer for replacement. That's pretty common, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Shh, that was one of our secrets.
You gotta share it. You gotta give the people something.
I was actually going to mention too the Dell and Lenovo outlet websites. Those have been really helpful to me too, especially for monitors with Dell outlet.
Ooh, okay.
One of my U2711 Ultra Sharps that I use is a Dell outlet. I think I paid at the time it was $400 for a 1440p monitor, which was a couple of years ago. That was a great deal. Now it's like average price, but But yeah, I mean, Dell Outlet's a really good place for good monitor deals.
Graham, I scored another one of those Z monitors off eBay for $250, brand new.
Hey, dual 1440p, man.
Yeah.
Nothing
So-
quite like it.
Yeah. What about you, Drew? What do you got?
We're gonna go back to eBay and misspell every damn thing you can.
Ah.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
You look up various misspellings for brand names, or if you're looking for a hard drive, drop the A or add an O. You'll be surprised at what people will just throw out there, and they will not double check. I've gotten some fabulous deals on little things here and there, mostly toys like Transformers. And they don't pay attention. Nobody else is going to jump on it because, as Graham already pointed out, the people who have the automatic watch stuff going, it's just going to pass over all of these misspellings, and you're just going to find something for cents on the dollar.
That's a
Now,
great tip.
the other side of that is you gotta be careful with making sure that the people that you're buying from, that if you see that they've got one or two bad strikes against them, if it's just general bitching and moaning, yeah, they'll be fine. If you see a trend of this person's ripped me off, you got to watch your own back on this. Even though you've got PayPal backing you monetarily, you're still going to get burned from time to time. It just happens.
Well, and you're still out the time too. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, your time is worth something as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of any other really good just things that I've really done. The misspelling one I hadn't thought of, but that works really well. Craigslist is another big one for me. I mean, I've had a lot of good success with finding cases or things like that. People who are looking, and part of it is also I'm also looking sometimes for older stuff. I mean, kind of like Bill's doing with the older hardware. I've done that where Bill knows the story. I mean, and Moss, you know the story where I picked up my 600T for $40. On Craigslist, and that was kind of a good steal for a 600T, and then I got the window.
It's really good.
I got the window kit from Bill, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. Though I'm probably going to end up upgrading pretty soon here. I got a review that's going to end up being my system right now. But
Is that Fantex Pro?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some. EO was kind enough to send me a care package of some components, so you can put your first loop together, man.
I think next week, if you want to help, I think Friday or Saturday, I think we're all going to hang out. So.
All right.
But no, I mean that's been a good good luck too. Looking for older stuff too. I mean because I mean I mean there've been Linus does the whole the Scrapyard Wars series. There's a lot of people do that, but it's a lot of using Craigslist, using these deals that you can find locally for older parts, and still getting pretty good systems out of older stuff. Used is not necessarily bad.
Oh. No, if you're just doing basic stuff on it too, we pushed, when you think about gaming and folding and stuff like that, but most people don't have the needs that we do, then they're just fine with something that they can do some photo editing on, or your wife can do, Shutterfly and stuff like that.
But even a couple of generations old Core i5, Core i7, which you might, I mean, it's still a pretty powerful processor.
Well, yeah.
I mean that's the truth. And some of the older video cards too. I mean, and then there's, I probably don't see as much of this anymore as what you find for old Bitcoin mining.
That's true. That's true. The whole Bitcoin building market kind of fell out, and there's components that you can find from that, but I guess you got to be more careful when you're dealing with those video cards from that realm. But there's lots of hardware from that.
Well, and there's also something to be said too for even on the NVIDIA side, if there's if you don't need certain features like shadow play or some of the other or game streaming from NVIDIA, like for the Shield stuff. I mean, if you don't need those features, some of their higher end cards from a couple generations back. I mean, I was picking up GTX 770s for a while, relatively inexpensively for less than $200 at both at Micro Center and B&H. So I mean, finding older generation cards, if you don't need those features that are in the newer gens, can be great. I mean, those still can be pretty decent performers.
Graham, what would you say is the best deal that you've ever gotten? That one sweet deal.
I picked up. This is probably one of my favorite ones that I like to talk about, and I don't have them anymore because I sold them to a friend of mine. But I picked up 2 different Samsung monitors from Micro Center Open Box for $40 1080p 23-inch monitors. They were within 6 month period. They both were identical models. I had no idea that they were identical, and I ended up finding out that putting them side by side and going, oh, these are the same. And I only paid $40 for these 1080p 23-inch Samsungs.
Nice.
Yeah, and the only thing that was wrong with them is the stands were broken, and I was going to mount them on a monitor arm anyway.
Oh, sure.
So for $40 for a 1080p Samsung panel, I mean, that was pretty good.
That is really good.
You
know what I've noticed? Like, because I'm looking for a new TV for our bedroom right now, and the wife, she wanted a 24-inch. What I'm noticing is that the selection for 24-inch smart TVs is really limited. So, I mean, I think I just may go with like a small ITX system with a monitor.
Hey, Bill, this makes it smart.
Yeah, I talked to Greg. Greg showed me the Amazon Fire TV when I was at a shop on Friday.
Yep.
And what you could do with that. And I was like, well.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, Greg's become like a dealer for those.
Yes, he has.
He's bought like a ton of them now recently.
I know. He told me. I know.
Yeah, I was there later in the evening with Jesse. But yeah, it's he's really into that, and that's great. Because he was building those AM1 Kodi boxes for a while.
Yes.
Because he was getting deals. One of the things that Micro Center has is the board CPU combo deal, which is another good deal to take advantage of. Sorry, Kyle. But he was taking advantage of that. He was getting like boards for practically nothing with buying an AM1 processor and then turning them into little ITX Kodi boxes. So.
That's great. Moss, what about that one hardware deal that was like, yes? You probably shared it, but I forgot what it was.
Which one?
You had a hardware deal that you've gotten in this hobby. That one big deal that you scored, and it was like, yes, I don't believe it.
I don't know. Like, and hardware.
Like a video card off eBay or something locally.
I've had a couple where I bought a video card or a couple of video cards off of eBay where you could. I only do it if you can actually see the serial number, but if you can see the serial number and you can check to see whether or not it has a warranty, you can sometimes RMA them with the right manufacturers, and then you get back another graphics card. But otherwise, or
your money.
Or your money, yeah. Depending on the price, but I don't know. There was a couple of sites that somebody in the chat on YouTube, if I switch over here quick, A10 Tech, they had mentioned that hardware swap subreddit on Reddit is another place that looks like you can catch a deal or find some stuff if you want, but my general feelings on stuff like subreddits and that kind of thing is anytime you're dealing with, sort of a on your honor system, you really kind of have to, I think, watch yourself, because that could potentially wind up having some issues where I paid you for it, but now you haven't sent it. Well, prove that you paid me, and I'll prove that I sent it. Well, how can I, do anything about that other than just start yelling at each other? But so that was one option, and they also mentioned a Deals On website as well that kind of looks like it's got a bunch of deal type things. I haven't really looked into any of these, so don't take this as us saying, hey, you should do these, but just options that people are throwing out there. Another thing too is like a lot of times I'll check if I'm shopping somewhere. I'll check things like Retail Me Not or various websites. You just wherever you are, just like if you're on Newegg or not Newegg, those are usually showing up on the project listings, but places where you're just like, oh, I wonder if they have a coupon code. So you just look for like, I don't know, something coupon codes in Google and see if anything pops up, and there's usually a bunch of sites that pop up that have listings for like coupons that were emailed out in flyers or whatever. So those are always good places to check too.
And a lot of times you'll get $5 or $10 off because of that. I mean, Retail Me Not is a great example of that.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that one. That's one I do every now and then.
When Cody was with us that one night at Greg's shop, he mentioned the GPUshack.com. This is a site that sells only video cards and they're refurbished. GPU Shack, and they've got a really good reputation.
Oh yeah, I remember him mentioning that.
Yeah. Somebody told me, I don't know if it was him, but somebody said that the owner of this is the same guy that owns Instagram, or some. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyways, I've heard from people that it's a really good place to. It's got a good reputation, so they're performing. I don't know exactly what their system is, but doing some type of RMAs or something for the manufacturers. And since I've been here, the last time I was here was over a month ago. There's now more than double the selection than there was a month ago, so I'm sure word is growing. Yeah, so check that out too, GPUshack.com.
One other thing for you to check, if you're just looking for a quick deal, if you definitely need a system or a component, PC Part Picker normally does price tracking as well. So that will give you just which of the standard retailers have that product for the cheapest, and they are in many countries. I know in the UK I use them quite a lot just to, while I'm browsing, it will give you the 4 or 5 retailers, including Amazon, and just show you which one's the cheapest, and it tracks the prices and how they've dropped and fallen over time.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about PC Parts Picker. Also, I've gotten referral links leading to MMPC Tech from there from people that are doing project builds on PC Parts Picker. Yeah. They're sharing project builds, which is pretty cool. Seems to be growing really fast.
Because you can put lots of parts into your inventory as well, so then when you're building a PC, you just select the parts that you've already got in your inventory, and it shows you other compatible parts and what you need to buy and where to get them the cheapest. And
one of the things I'll mention too, that probably this might be a little controversial, but I will price match both at Best Buy and Micro Center with Amazon or other websites. A lot of times they will price match. Specifically Amazon, but they'll do other things too.
And Newegg too.
Yep. It has to be shipped directly from them, not any of the vendors that are sub-vendors through Newegg or Amazon. But as long as it's shipped directly from those, they will price match. And I've had a lot of success with it. Probably a little too much. I'm building a reputation. But there are several clerks at Micro Center who basically just start doing a manager call the second they see come up. You're going to price match Amazon today, aren't you? Yes, I am. Because they see my phone out. The Amazon app, I was telling my wife today, it's really great because it has a barcode scanner on it. It's awesome.
You are the man, aren't you?
If I don't have to pay full price, I'm not gonna.
Sure.
See, I don't mind, like, if the price is the same as Amazon, I'll buy it at Micro Center, but I don't like it. I always only price match like Newegg, because it's like, well, I'm already not paying tax if I buy it on Newegg, and usually it has free shipping, so you might as well price match. And
really, you're not paying? I've paid tax on Newegg and Amazon the last few times I've paid for both of those.
Amazon, yes, I haven't had to pay tax on Newegg yet, but I haven't bought anything.
I had to the last time I had to buy something on Newegg. Okay.
I don't know.
Like I said, it is a little controversial. I don't know. Like Amazon's going to eat a lot of places' lunch too now with things like Prime Now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to pay full price for some things. I'm sorry. It's just and if I don't have to, I'm not going to. I mean, it's how you stay competitive. Now, granted, there are things at Micro Center you can't get on Amazon. There are things at Best Buy you can't get on Amazon, and they are going to be better priced, and they're still going to make more money that way. Sometimes that's cable, sometimes that's other small parts. Sometimes that's inland house brand stuff. Or Insignia or whatever. So they're making their money other ways. They just have to be competitive in this market. And sometimes convenience is that competitive advantage, but sometimes price should be too. and and that's how I feel. I mean, I'm sorry if like I said, you're not going to convince me otherwise. This is how I save money.
Right. Well, when it's any hobby that's expensive, this is a very expensive hobby. If you can find ways to save money to keep it going, absolutely.
Well, and those stores like me anyways. I mean, those stores I built a good reputation. Good. They like the fact that I'm spending money there. So
well, sure.
I mean, even though like I said, those clerks make fun of me because they don't price my. I mean, I know the managers on first name basis at Micro Center. They're fine with me. I mean, like I said, they understand that. I mean, and because they know I'm not always doing it. I mean, I'm also giving them money. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the time, even when you're price matching, they're still getting profit. You've just cut their profit margin down by 5%.
Well, and then half the time, what happens? They end up with that price next week. I mean, like the next week they have that sale. I mean, I've had that happen numerous times on Samsung Evo SSDs. I mean, where this week Amazon's got the better price, next week Micro Center got the better price. I mean, it balances out.
Kyle, share your conversation that you started in Skype regarding tax. Kyle couldn't believe that we had to pay tax on stuff that we ordered.
Yeah, being someone from the UK where I pay 20% tax on everything I buy, no matter where I buy it from, unless it's an essential, I was trying to work out why you guys weren't discussing where you pay tax for stuff and why not. So yeah, it's just trying to work out, like, that's definitely something else to consider in the States if that's the case, where if you can get whatever your tax rate is, I don't know, it's probably something at a ridiculous tax rate anyway that you have to walk around with a calculator to work anything else, because you don't put taxes on your labels in your shops because you make no sense. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something to consider then, if that's the case. Looking at retails where you can get away with it.
Yeah, and that's something else to look out for too, obviously, is like, even if you do find a really good deal, make sure you check shipping before you actually decide whether or not that's a good deal.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I end up. So years and years and years ago, I got a lifetime free shipping added to my account for one of the retailers in the UK. So I get next day shipping for free from them, and so I generally end up buying stuff from them because it's £5 or £7 cheaper than everybody else, just because I don't have to pay for shipping.
May I go back to Exhibit A again, which was $9, $50 shipping.
Well,
but it was justifiable because they're in Canada. But yeah, I also want to mention to any of you out there that are looking at doing your first DIY liquid build that my favorite online store for getting components is Coollance.com. KOOLANCE.com. Coollance.com. They have this online store, and their shipping rates are awesome. It's like great, just priority mail postage rates, really good pricing, and their components are great for the money. So if you're in the US and you're looking to do your first DIY liquid loop, look at Coollance for whatever components you can use in your loop and save some money.
or talk to your buddies.
Talk to your buddies. Luckily, we have that resource because we're staffed through a website, so we have the connections. But
I've definitely sold off some of my spare parts or things that I bought a group of radiators, like 3 or 4 of them, because I wanted 1 or 2 of them specifically, and then it's like, because I use a lot of radiators for reviews, so I have a whole shelf full of radiators that I've actually never filled with water per se. I just use them to say, oh yeah, if you want to put a 360 here, you can. So I've sold a couple of those because it's like I get a deal on a bunch of them on like eBay or whatever, and then I sell off most of the ones that I don't want, And it's like I'm not going to ask retail for them because I, 1, didn't pay retail for them, and 2, they're not brand new from a retail shop either. So
it was funny. I helped a buddy of mine move a couple months ago, and it was great looking through all of his stuff. I was helping him move. I'm like, I sold that to you. I sold that to you. I sold that to you. It was like his computer, his stereo receiver, like a bunch of other stuff. I was like, wow, you have a lot of my old crap. Wow. I mean, like that happens. I mean, you sell things off to friends, and they buy it back from you. So. Or you buy stuff.
Yeah. And I guess that's going back to what I was saying, especially in the UK, is check out your local forums. There's normally someone close by you that's trying to sell off stuff. The other day I drove down, it was a 20-mile drive, and I managed to pick up shed loads of stock coolers that I'm needing for a project. And somebody just had them. He was actually a reviewer for another website, and so he just had shed loads of them lying around, so I just went and picked them up. And so that's definitely something you can do no matter where you are.
Great. Well, I learned a lot today. Yeah. I like Drew's
bank account. It's gonna disappear soon.
PayPal account, yeah. Drew, my favorite was Drew's tip about eBay and misspelling stuff. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had somebody point out that there's apparently a fatfingers.com website that actually collects those eBay's misspellings and lists them in a central location.
I've been playing around with it is you type in the item you want to search, so whatever you'd put in the eBay search bar, and it generates a list of things that puts into the eBay search in a way that eBay will search for all of those items as a list. And
better.
just gets rid of all the random letters and stuff, and that's open to most eBay stores. So there's a .co.uk option, a .com option, etc. But I was trying it for GTX. I just tried various manufacturers for GTX 970s, and it actually ended up being more expensive because people had misbuilt them and obviously didn't know what they were doing, so priced them above everybody else.
Great.
Well, thanks for proving me wrong then, you idiots. Anyway.
Nice.
No, well, we're coming up on an hour here, so we're going to close out for this week, and we will be back next week. What do we have here for our upcoming topic? It looks like your first custom PC build.
Ooh.
And so we've got many different things we can discuss with that. How many times did you leave blood all over the case? Did you wish that you had painted it differently because everything blistered, bubbled, and whatnot? Bill's showing off a Band-Aid there. Let's get a good look at that one, Bill. Show that up again.
Oh, that's got a what the hell. That's got a what the hell.
So did you get bitten by the board, or did the case slice you?
Modder's mesh.
Oh, your own. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll share it in a future podcast. What the hell? How that happened?
A Stanley knife from me doing work to Codename C sliced my finger in a nice parallel. You can't really see it on the camera, but got 2 slashes down them from stripping 100 wires.
I foresee a future hangout about battle scars from
There you go.
We all know that you look through my work logs and there has to be at least one picture of me covered in blood in each.
Oh man, I haven't done it in a while. Knock on wood. Oh man.
I was gonna say when I'm not doing computer modding, I'm doing woodworking with lots of sharp hand tools, so I'm not even gonna go there.
Chris is on his 3rd set of brand new hands.
Yeah, luckily my doctor figured out how to reattach these things pretty well.
Gloves? Who needs gloves?
All right, folks, you guys have yourselves a good week. Stay safe, keep warm. It's starting to break through to spring out here, but not quite there yet. If you're in warmer climes, screw off. I don't like you. And until next week, have yourself a great time, and come visit us over at themodzoo.com. Check out the forums, check out our social media. We're on Google+, we're on Facebook, we're on the Twitters, and we try to keep everyone updated on all of the doings. We've got reviews, of course. We yell at each other in the forums a lot. We make fun of Kyle a lot for breaking the forums. It's the standard.
I hate you all.
We hate you.
Have they broken since I installed the new forum?
Oh, it's working great.
There was that one issue with the theme, but that could have been my fault, but I still don't think it was.
That was entirely your fault. I reinstalled the theme. And everything went absolutely fine again. So it's all your fault.
And before we start getting to fisticuffs here across the pond, I'm gonna cut it. Have yourself a great week, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks for
everybody.
watching.